There's 4 stages of performance. In anything you do, whether it's creating an athletic team, a relationship, a business, and we're going to apply this strictly to business today. And the beginning stage is forming. Whenever you hire a new sales manager, whenever you develop a new product line, whenever there's kind of a transitional time, you go to a sales seminar, you're literally going to be in a forming stage. That's the entry level, kind of the honeymoon period. Well, here's something that happens right after that. You hit the second level, you hit storming. All businesses, all sales teams, all organizations go through storming. Storming is where partnership breakups, storming is where you suffer from cash flow. Storming is when conflict rises. You literally start to see a rise in conflict. There's so many bad things that happen in the storming process. The problem with that is most companies that we've worked in, most individuals that we've worked with do not have a methodology, kind of a philosophy, a way to get through the storm. You see, on the other side of the storm is norming. That's where you're making more money than is going out. That's where you have cash flow. That's where you're paying all your people. People are creating commissions. That's where you're selling, and there's some momentum beginning to happen. That's where business really gets to be fun. That's where business becomes productive. From there, you want to move into the performing stage. I don't know if you read the book E-Myth, but in E-Myth, you talk about systemizing your business. Performing is where things happen at the multiplication stage. This is where cash flow is good. You may start to develop second, third, fourth businesses off of it. You may, if you're in franchising, buy another franchise. There's a funny thing that happens at the performing stage, though. Usually, you develop a new product. Usually, you develop a new sales team. Something happens where you're going to be kicked into forming. And then what happens at forming? Storming. We needed to have a methodology to help companies, individuals, and associations get through the storm. The first thing that we realized was companies dealt with conflict. And conflict comes in a lot of different ways. Just the inability to communicate creates great conflict. You realize that 57% of management time is in resolving conflict. But you know that over 80% of conflict can be resolved with better communication skills. Do you personally have a methodology for communication? Are you presently reading any books, attending any seminars? The second thing is poor cash flow. What fixes poor cash flow? There's only one thing that fixes cash flow, and that is the mastery of a sales methodology. Now let's talk about your sales mastery. Where would you evaluate it at on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 means you have total mastery on the basic systematic approach to sales. 1 meaning, boy, I really need a great deal of improvement. How do you make that phone call? How do you get by the vaunted gatekeeper? All those things. Sales is skill-based, and anything that's skill-based you can learn. What have you done in the last year to help you improve your sales skills? And we're not talking about cheap techniques. We're not talking about they say this and you say that. We're talking about understanding the client, understanding what makes that client tick, understanding yourself, understanding how to sit down across the table from someone and do a powerful presentation. Are your presentations powerful? Are your phone calls powerful? Now we're going to move on a little bit. We're going to talk about how companies, how individuals spend a lot of their time confused. At some point in time, to get better, you have to start thinking a little bit more strategically. Think about all the things you do in a week, a month, a year. I'm asking you, do things line up for you? You have to have clarity. You have to know why you do what you do. You have to know who you're calling, why you're calling them. Does this fit into the big picture, so to speak, of your sales presentations? When we start looking at the methodology that we're putting together here, I want to go back. I want to start talking about forming again. I want to go back to where you are as an individual. First, let's look at your company that you work with, where they are in the forming stages. Do you know? Are you guys going in the same direction? Now let's look at this individually. Where are you? Where are you? Do you have total clarity? I mean, when you get up in the morning, do you know why you do what you do? Do you have your list of who you're going to call and why? How do they fit into your demographic? Think about when you're looking at your clients. Do you know your highest revenue producing clients? Maybe you need to improve communication styles. Maybe you need to work on sales, mastery, and more than anything, don't you need clarity? Down the road, where would I like my company, where would I like me as an individual to be 12 months from now? I can tell you this, wherever you want to be, you're going to have to start making decisions today and put those things in place and make sure they line up, because if they don't line up, then you're wasting your time. Show you the process and procedure we use, you can get more relationships and more clients at the rapport level.
Today, we're going to start digging into human behavior. Ever wonder what your client is thinking? Ever wonder what makes them decide to purchase? We have two elements here: pace and priority. Realize we're going to superimpose these two.
What do you do best? If you could only be known for one or two or three things by your clients, what would they be?
If I could show you a way to have your website, your Facebook, your social media marketing campaign noticed and remembered, and beyond that, capture leads, would it be worth the next few minutes? And notice I have a value statement in very large font. Remember what Dr. Pradeep...
On their side of the table, you now collaborate with them. What you're looking to do is establish yourself as an advisor, an expert. show you the process and procedure we use, you can get more relationships and more clients at the rapport level.
Today, we're going to start digging into human behavior. Ever wonder what your client is thinking? Ever wonder what makes them decide to purchase? We have two elements here: pace and priority. Realize we're going to superimpose these two.
What do you do best? If you could only be known for one or two or three things by your clients, what would they be?
If I could show you a way to have your website, your Facebook, your social media marketing campaign noticed and remembered, and beyond that, capture leads, would it be worth the next few minutes? And notice I have a value statement in very large font. Remember what Dr. Pici...
On their side of the table, you now collaborate with them. What you're looking to do is establish yourself as an advisor, an expert.